5 years had passed since Michael Ross's dream became reality. The little art school was now filled with laughter every afternoon. Children painted freely, families smiled again, and every spring, the town held an exhibition. In Michael's honor, Grandpa Richard's promise had grown into something far greater than any of us had imagined. Life had become peaceful. No more hidden rooms. No more forgotten paintings. No more long journeys across the country. For the first time in years, I believed the story was finally over. Then came Noah's 30th birthday. Our entire family gathered at the old farmhouse in Rosewood Valley, the same porch where Ethan now taught children how to paint sunsets. The evening was quiet. Golden sunlight covered the fields. Children chased butterflies across the grass. It felt exactly like one of Michael's paintings. After dinner, I quietly stood up, walked inside the house, and returned carrying a small wooden box. Noah looked at me curiously. "Dad, what's that?" I smiled. "I've been waiting for this day." The family gathered around. I carefully opened the box. Inside rested Grandpa Richard's silver pocket watch, perfectly polished, still ticking, still keeping perfect time. The same watch that had changed our lives forever. Noah stared at it. His smile slowly disappeared. "Dad, I can't take Grandpa's watch. It belongs to you." I gently shook my head. "No, it never did." Everyone looked at me. Even Ethan stopped speaking. I picked up the watch, held it in both hands, then quietly said, "My grandfather never left this watch for me. He trusted me to protect it until the next person was ready." Noah lowered his eyes. "I don't know if I'm ready." I placed the watch into his hands. "You said the same thing the first time you held a paintbrush in Michael's classroom. And look what happened." The old watch felt heavy in Noah's hands, not because of its weight, but because of everything it carried. Friendship, sacrifice, kindness, promises. 3 generations, all resting inside one ordinary pocket watch. Later that night, the celebration ended. Everyone had gone to sleep. Only Noah remained awake. He sat alone on the front porch. The moonlight reflected off the silver case. He slowly opened the watch, listened to its steady ticking, then smiled. "I hope I'm worthy." As he stood up, the watch slipped from his hand. It fell onto the wooden floor. Clink. The sound echoed through the quiet night. Noah quickly picked it up, expecting to see damage. Instead, he noticed something strange. A tiny silver pin had popped loose near the winding crown. It had never been visible before. He gently pressed it. A soft click answered. A paper-thin compartment, hidden deeper than any we had ever discovered, slowly opened. Inside, there wasn't a letter. There wasn't a photograph. Only a tiny silver key attached to it by a faded blue ribbon. Beneath the key, a single folded note, just 6 handwritten words. "For the one who leads after me." Noah looked toward the sleeping farmhouse, then whispered, "I don't think Grandpa's story is finished yet." For several minutes, Noah simply stared at the tiny silver key. It was no longer than his thumb. Its surface had faded with age, yet it had never rusted, almost as if Grandpa Richard had expected someone to find it. One day, I woke up early the next morning. The smell of fresh coffee drifted through the farmhouse. When I walked into the kitchen, Noah was already waiting. The pocket watch lay on the table. Beside it, the tiny silver key and the folded note. Without saying a word, he slid them toward me. I unfolded the note. The handwriting was unmistakable. Richard Carter, my grandfather, the man whose kindness had changed countless lives. The note contained only one sentence. Every generation must choose its own purpose. Nothing more. No instruction. No address. No explanation. I smiled. That sounds exactly like Grandpa. Noah frowned. "I don't understand." "Choose what purpose?" I looked at the old watch. I don't think he wanted to give us answers. I think he wanted us to ask the right questions. Later that morning, we visited Ethan. The art school was alive with laughter. Children covered in paint ran through the garden. Some were painting flowers, others painted mountains. One little girl was carefully drawing Grandpa Richard's pocket watch. Ethan noticed the key immediately. "I've never seen that before." Neither had I. He turned it over in his hand. Tiny letters had been engraved near the handle, almost too small to notice. Sarah borrowed a magnifying glass. Slowly, the words became clear. H. Whitmore and Sons. 1928. Sarah looked thoughtful. "I know that name. It wasn't just a locksmith. It was one of the oldest private banks in the state." Noah looked surprised. "A bank?" Sarah nodded. "They specialized in secure family vaults. Many no longer exist, but one branch still operates. The address was over 200 miles away, a quiet town that none of us had ever visited. For a moment, the room fell silent. The same feeling returned, the feeling that had always come before a new journey. Ethan smiled. "I'll take care of the school. You two, go see where Richard is leading you this time." I laughed softly. "It feels strange." "What does?" "Not following Grandpa, but following my son." The next morning, before sunrise, Noah packed the car. This time, I didn't carry the pocket watch. He did. Watching him place it carefully into his jacket pocket, I realized something. For the first time, I wasn't leading the journey. I was simply walking beside him. After 4 hours on the road, we arrived in the small town. The streets were quiet. Brick buildings lined the square. Near the center, an old stone building stood proudly. Above its entrance, weathered bronze letters read, "Whitmore and Sons Private Trust, established 1891, the same name, engraved on Grandpa's silver key. Inside, an elderly receptionist welcomed us warmly. Noah placed the tiny silver key on the desk. The woman's expression changed immediately. She picked it up carefully, almost reverently. Then she whispered, "I never thought I'd see one of these again." She looked directly at Noah. "Please, follow me." As we walked deeper into the building, massive steel vault doors came into view. Then, she stopped before one particular vault. Its look matched Noah's silver key perfectly. Above the door, a small brass plaque had been polished countless times. It bore only 6 words, "The Carter Family Legacy Trust." At that moment, neither of us realized that what waited behind that vault door would change not only our family, but hundreds of lives yet to come. The receptionist inserted Noah's silver key, then entered a second code, known only to the bank. A deep metallic sound echoed through the hallway. The massive steel vault slowly opened. For nearly 100 years, no one had entered. The room inside wasn't large. There were no stacks of cash, no gold bars, no expensive jewelry, only one small oak chest, resting alone on a wooden table, waiting. The elderly receptionist smiled gently. "Mr. Richard Carter rented this vault in 1968. He instructed us to release it only to the person carrying that silver key." She looked at Noah. "I believe that person is you." Noah walked forward slowly. His hands trembled slightly. He lifted the old chest onto the table. Its brass lock had already been unlocked, almost as if Grandpa wanted this moment to be easy. Inside, there wasn't a fortune, there wasn't a will. Instead, hundreds of neatly tied envelopes filled the chest. Every bundle was wrapped with faded blue ribbon. Every envelope carried a handwritten name. No address, no explanation, only names. Noah picked up the first one, Mrs. Eleanor Ross. Another, Daniel Brooks. Then, Bader Grant, Samuel Cooper, Thomas Hale, even people we had never heard of. Teachers, farmers, nurses, mechanics, children. The chest seemed endless. At the very bottom rested one final envelope. Unlike all the others, it wasn't sealed. Across the front, Grandpa had written, "For whoever opens this chest." Noah carefully unfolded the letter. The handwriting was steady, almost peaceful. If you are reading this, then you are not here because of curiosity. You are here because kindness has survived another generation. If that is true, then I am grateful. These letters were never forgotten. I chose not to send them, because words alone cannot change a life. People can. One day, someone from our family would have to decide whether these letters still mattered. Not by reading them, but by finding the people who needed them most. If you choose this path, remember one thing: you are not delivering letters. You are delivering hope. The room became completely silent. I looked toward Noah. His eyes never left Grandpa's words. For the first time, I realized the journey was no longer mine. It belonged to him now. The receptionist quietly placed another item on the table. I almost forgot. This was left with the chest. It was an old leather notebook, smaller than Grandpa's journals. On the front cover, only 3 words appeared: letters never sent. Inside, Grandpa had listed every name beside each one. A single sentence, not about money, not about possessions, but about why each person mattered. One page read, "He gave away his future so others could have one." Another simply said, "She never stopped believing in people." Every name represented someone whose kindness had quietly changed another life. Noah slowly closed the notebook, then looked at me. "Dad, what if some of these people are no longer alive?" I smiled gently. "Then, we'll find the people they left behind." As we prepared to leave, the receptionist stopped us. "There is one more instruction." She handed Noah a small folded card. On it, Grandpa had written only one sentence: "Never open more than 1 letter at a time." Noah slipped the card into his pocket. Neither of us understood why, but somehow, we both knew Grandpa had one final lesson to teach, and it would begin with the very first unopened letter. The drive home felt completely different. The old oak chest rested safely in the back seat. Inside, hundreds of unopened letters, each one waiting for its own story, each one waiting for the right person. Neither Noah nor I spoke much. Grandpa's final instruction echoed in our minds: never open more than 1 letter at a time. Such a simple sentence, yet somehow, it felt more important than anything else he had ever written. Back at the farmhouse, we placed the chest on the dining room table. Ethan, Sarah, and Eleanor joined us. Everyone looked at the faded envelopes. No one reached for them. It almost felt like standing inside a library, filled with lives instead of books. Noah finally broke the silence. If Grandpa wanted us to open only one, which one should it be? I slowly opened Grandpa's leather notebook. Letters never sent. The first page contained only one name: Anna Collins. Beside it, Grandpa had written one short sentence: "She taught children when no one else would." Nothing more. Sarah searched through the envelopes. After several minutes, she found it. The paper had faded to a soft cream color. Across the front, beautiful handwriting read, "Miss Anna Collins." The seal had never been broken. Noah looked at me. "Should I?" I smiled. "I think Grandpa has been waiting for you." He carefully opened the envelope. Inside was a single handwritten letter. "Dear Anna, you once told me that changing one child's future was enough to change the world. At the time, I didn't believe you. I thought wars were won by brave soldiers. Now I know they are truly won by kind teachers. Thank you for giving children hope." Long after the fighting ended, one day, someone from my family may read this. If they do, please remind them, never underestimate a quiet act of kindness. Richard Carter. The room remained silent. It wasn't a secret. It wasn't a mystery. It was simply gratitude. Eleanor quietly smiled. My grandmother knew an Anna Collins. She taught at the old schoolhouse, just outside Rosewood Valley. Sarah quickly searched through local archives on her laptop. A few minutes later, she found an old newspaper. A black and white photograph appeared. There she was, Anna Collins, standing beside dozens of smiling children. The article's headline read, "Teacher retires after 47 years of service." Noah continued reading. The final paragraph had been written in smaller handwriting. "If this letter reaches someone after Anna is gone, please don't place it in a museum. Find one of her students. Let them know their teacher was loved." Noah slowly folded the letter. "Dad, She passed away 30 years ago. I nodded. I know, but Grandpa didn't ask us. To find Anna, he asked us. To find the lives she changed. Sarah looked back at the newspaper, then suddenly pointed toward one photograph. There, that's Ethan's grandmother. Everyone turned. Sure enough, a young Eleanor, only 8 years old, was standing in the front row of Anna Collins' class. Eleanor covered her mouth. I had forgotten. She was my first teacher. Tears filled her eyes. I never knew. Richard remembered. At that moment, we all understood. These letters weren't about unfinished business. They were about unfinished gratitude. Grandpa wasn't asking us to solve mysteries anymore. He was asking us to make sure no kindness was ever forgotten. As Noah gently placed Anna's letter back into its envelope, something slipped out. A tiny pressed sunflower, perfectly preserved. Tucked beneath it was another handwritten note. Only 5 simple words. She loved these every spring. Noah smiled. I think I know exactly where we're going tomorrow. The next morning, Noah carefully placed the pressed sunflower back inside Anna Collins' envelope. Grandpa had protected it for more than 50 years. Now, it was our turn. Sarah found an old town map. A small red circle marked the location of the original schoolhouse. It had been closed for decades. Now, only a community library stood there. Before leaving, Noah looked at the wooden chest. Hundreds of unopened letters still waited inside. He reached toward another envelope, then stopped. Grandpa's instruction echoed once again. Never open more than 1 letter at a time. He slowly closed the lid. One story first. I understand now. The drive was short. As we entered the little town, everything felt peaceful. Children rode bicycles along quiet streets. An elderly couple watered flowers. It reminded me of the world Grandpa had always hoped to protect. The old schoolhouse was gone. In its place stood the Rosewood Community Library. But one thing remained, an enormous oak tree. Its branches stretched across the front yard, just like the photographs taken 70 years ago. Inside the library, a woman greeted us warmly. Her silver hair framed a gentle smile. My name is Margaret. Can I help you? Sarah stepped forward. We're looking for someone who once studied under Anna Collins. Margaret smiled immediately. Then you've come to the right place. She led us into a reading room. Old class photographs covered one entire wall. There she was, Anna Collins, standing proudly beside hundreds of students. Generation after generation. Margaret pointed toward one photograph. That's me, a little girl, missing one front tooth. Standing beside Anna, my parents couldn't afford books. Miss Collins bought them herself. Another elderly man, who had overheard us, walked over quietly. She gave me my first pair of shoes. Soon, a third person joined, then a fourth. Within minutes, the room was filled with former students. Every one of them had a story, not about grades, not about homework, but about kindness. One woman smiled through tears. When my father died, I stopped speaking. Miss Collins sat beside me every lunch break. For 3 months, she never asked me to talk. She simply stayed. An elderly firefighter laughed softly. I became a firefighter because she once told me, real heroes help strangers. Noah quietly listened, then carefully removed Grandpa's letter. I think this belongs to all of you. He read it aloud. No one interrupted. When he reached the final sentence, several people were openly crying. For a long moment, the room remained silent. Then Margaret whispered, Anna never knew how many lives she changed. I gently smiled. Maybe she did. She just never needed anyone to tell her. Before we left, Margaret disappeared into a storage room. She returned carrying a small wooden box. I've kept this for nearly 40 years. Inside were dozens of handwritten thank you notes. Every one of them written by children Anna had taught. She had saved them all. Tucked beneath the notes was an old black and white photograph. Anna Collins, standing beside Grandpa Richard, both smiling. On the back, someone had written, kindness is the only lesson children never forget. Noah carefully slipped the photograph into Grandpa's notebook. As we walked toward the car, he looked at me and quietly said, "Dad, I think I finally understand." Grandpa wasn't collecting letters. He was collecting people who quietly changed the world. And somehow, that realization made the old pocket watch feel even more valuable than before. As we drove home, Noah couldn't stop thinking about Anna Collins. One teacher, one quiet life, yet hundreds of people still remembered her kindness. Grandpa had been right. Some people never become famous, but they change the world anyway. Back at the farmhouse, the old oak chest waited patiently. Hundreds of unopened letters still rested inside. Noah walked toward it, then paused. He smiled. Only one. He gently opened the notebook. Letters never sent. The next page revealed another name, Mr. Benjamin Walker. Beneath it, Grandpa had written, "He built more than buildings." Sarah searched through the envelopes. After several minutes, she found Benjamin's letter. The paper was thicker than the others. The envelope carried tiny traces of sawdust, almost as if Grandpa had sealed it. Inside Benjamin's workshop, Noah carefully opened it. "Dear Ben, you always said, a strong foundation is something people never notice until it's gone. You weren't talking about houses. You were talking about people. Thank you for rebuilding homes after the war and for rebuilding hearts without expecting anyone to remember your name. Richard Carter." Inside the envelope, a folded blueprint slipped onto the table. It showed a small brick building, large windows, wooden shelves, children reading books together. Across the top, Benjamin had written, "Rosewood Community Library." Sarah looked surprised. "This is impossible. This is the original design for the library we visited yesterday." Eleanor smiled softly. "My father once told me the library almost wasn't built. There wasn't enough money." Sarah searched the town archives. Within minutes, she found an old newspaper article. Its headline read, "Local carpenter donates 6 months of work to build children's library." The carpenter's name, Benjamin Walker. The article explained Benjamin had refused payment. Instead, he asked the town council to spend the money buying books for children. Noah slowly folded the newspaper. He gave away half a year's salary. I nodded, and no one remembers. Sarah smiled. "I think they will now." A week later, we returned to the library, this time not carrying questions, but carrying Grandpa's letter. Margaret welcomed us again. When she saw Benjamin's name, she covered her mouth. My grandfather worked beside him. She gathered several elderly volunteers. Together, they read Grandpa's letter aloud. When Noah reached the final sentence, everyone stood quietly. One old carpenter whispered, "I apprenticed under Ben. He always said, if children have books, they'll build a better world." I never knew. Richard remembered. That afternoon, the town council held an unexpected meeting. They voted unanimously to rename the children's reading room. A new wooden plaque was carved. It simply read, "Benjamin Walker Children's Reading Room, built with kindness, shared with everyone." A few weeks later, dozens of local carpenters volunteered. They repaired old shelves, built new reading tables, donated handmade bookcases. Children helped paint colorful murals. The library felt alive again, not because it was renovated, but because Benjamin's kindness had inspired another generation. Before leaving, Margaret handed Noah an old carpenter's ruler. Its wood had become smooth. After decades of use, inside the folded ruler, a tiny handwritten message appeared. In Benjamin's handwriting, only 6 words, "Measure success by lives you lived." Noah smiled as he carefully placed it beside Grandpa's pocket watch. The journey was no longer about discovering hidden letters. It was becoming a journey to remind the world that ordinary people can leave extraordinary legacies. But now, Noah understood Grandpa's pattern. Each letter was never about the person who received it. It was about the lives they had quietly changed. The letters were not a collection of memories. They were a map of kindness. That evening, the old oak chest rested beneath the dining room window. Golden sunlight spilled across its worn lid. Noah ran his hand gently over the wood, then opened Grandpa's notebook. The next page revealed another name, Dr. Henry Lawson. Beneath it, only one sentence. He healed people long before medicine could. Sarah searched the chest. After several minutes, she found the envelope. Unlike the others, it was unusually thin, almost weightless. Inside, there was only one handwritten page. Dear Henry, people often thanked me for serving during the war, but they never saw the nights you stayed awake, listening to men who believed they no longer deserve tomorrow. You reminded us that healing begins the moment someone feels understood. Thank you for saving lives no medal could ever recognize. Richard Carter. Noah quietly folded the letter. There wasn't a single word about hospitals. I smiled, because Grandpa wasn't thanking him for being a doctor. He was thanking him for being human. Sarah searched through historical records. Within minutes, she found an article. Dr. Henry Lawson had opened the town's first counseling clinic for returning veterans. He charged no fees, accepted no donations, and refused every public award. The newspaper included one sentence that caught Noah's attention. The clinic closed after Dr. Lawson retired. The building still stood, empty. The next morning, we drove there. The small brick clinic sat quietly at the edge of town. Its sign had faded, paint peeled from the windows, but someone still placed fresh flowers beside the front door every week. An elderly groundskeeper greeted us. You've come because of Henry. He smiled gently. I was wondering if someone eventually would. His name was Arthur. He had volunteered beside Henry for nearly 30 years. Every Thursday, without fail, Arthur unlocked the front door. The waiting room looked exactly as it had decades earlier. Old wooden chairs, a small bookshelf, children's drawings, still hanging on the walls. No one had touched them. Arthur pointed toward one picture, a simple drawing made with blue crayons. A little house, a bright sun, and two smiling people. Across the bottom, a child had written, "Thank you for listening." Arthur smiled softly. Henry believed most people don't need perfect answers. They just need someone who refuses to leave. As Noah walked through the clinic, he noticed something unusual. Every patient file had been destroyed, except one, resting alone, inside the doctor's desk. The folder wasn't labeled with a patient's name. Instead, the cover simply read, "For the next person who chooses to listen." Inside, there wasn't medical information, only blank pages. On the first page, Henry had written, "Every generation will have people who feel forgotten. Don't ask how to fix them. Ask how to stay beside them." Noah closed the folder slowly. He didn't speak. He didn't have to. For the first time, he understood that Grandpa's greatest friends were never remembered because of extraordinary achievements. They were remembered because they never walked away from people who needed them most. Before we left, Arthur handed Noah an old wooden stethoscope. It no longer worked, but carefully engraved into its handle were 6 familiar words. "Kindness hears what silence cannot say." Noah held it beside Grandpa's pocket watch. One carried time, the other carried compassion, and somehow they belonged together. When we returned from Dr. Henry Lawson's clinic, Noah placed the wooden stethoscope beside Grandpa Richard's pocket watch. The two objects looked completely different. One measured time, the other had once listened to broken hearts. Yet somehow, they belonged together. That evening, the old oak chest sat quietly in the corner of the living room. Hundreds of letters still waited, but Noah no longer felt impatient. He finally understood Grandpa's final lesson. One life, one story, one act of kindness at a time. The following morning, Noah opened Grandpa's notebook once again. The next page revealed another name, Mrs. Grace Harper. Beneath it, only one sentence. She fed hope before she fed hunger. Sarah searched through the envelopes. After several minutes, she found Grace's letter. The envelope felt unusually thick. Inside was Grandpa's handwritten note, along with an old recipe card. Its corners were stained with flour. as if it had been used thousands of times. Noah unfolded the letter. Dear Grace, most people believed you were famous for baking bread. They were wrong. You were famous for making strangers feel like family. No one ever left your table feeling unwanted. You taught me that sharing a meal is often the beginning of healing a broken heart. Thank you for feeding people long before they realized what they truly needed. Richard Carter. No one spoke. The recipe card remained on the table. At the top, Grace had written, bread for anyone who knocks. Below it, the ingredients. Simple, affordable, enough to feed 20 people. Sarah searched the local archives. Within minutes, she smiled. I found her. Grace Harper had owned a tiny bakery. Every winter, she baked hundreds of loaves and quietly left them on the porches of families who couldn't afford food. She never signed her name. There was another article, published after her passing. The headline read, Town still wonders who fed them during the hardest winters. No one had ever discovered. It was Grace. Noah looked at me. Dad. They never thanked her. I smiled gently. Maybe she never wanted them to. A week later, we visited the old bakery. The building had been closed for years. Its windows were dusty, its ohms cold, but the faded wooden sign still hung above the entrance. Harper's Bakery. Since 1949, an elderly woman unlocked the door. My name is Emma. I'm Grace's granddaughter. She had never met Grandpa Richard. Yet, when Noah showed her the letter, she immediately began to cry. My grandmother never spoke about helping anyone. She always said, if people remember the bread, they'll forget the kindness. Emma led us into the old kitchen. Everything remained exactly as Grace had left it. Wooden bowls, rolling pins, an iron oven, even the handwritten recipe book still rested beside the flour bin. Noah quietly handed Emma the recipe card Grandpa had saved. Emma held it with trembling hands. I thought this was lost forever. She smiled through tears. This was Grandma's favorite recipe. That afternoon, Emma made an unexpected announcement. She would reopen Harper's Bakery, not as a business, but as a community kitchen. Every Saturday, volunteers would bake bread together. Anyone could come. Anyone could eat. No questions asked. No payment required. Only one request. Take an extra loaf for someone who might need it. 3 months later, the first community bread day arrived. More than 200 people gathered. Children kneaded dough. Teenagers served soup. Retired bakers taught young families how to make Grace's famous bread. The smell of fresh bread filled the entire street. As the day came to an end, Emma quietly handed Noah Grace's old wooden rolling pin. Carved into the handle were 6 simple words. Love rises with every shared loaf. Noah smiled as he placed it beside Grandpa's watch. Then he looked around at hundreds of strangers, laughing together over warm bread. For the first time, he realized Grandpa hadn't left behind a collection of letters he had planted, hundreds of seeds, and now, on et on, they were growing into forests of kindness. Only one letter remained before Noah finally understood the true reason. Grandpa had never mailed them himself. Autumn arrived quietly. Golden leaves covered the path leading to the old farmhouse. The art school was thriving. The library welcomed more children than ever. The community bakery served warm bread every Saturday morning, and Henry Lawson's clinic had reopened as a free counseling center. On et on, Grandpa Richard's forgotten friends were changing lives once again. But one question still remained. Why hadn't Grandpa simply mailed the letters? The answer was waiting inside the final envelope. That evening, Noah carried the oak chest into Grandpa Richard's study. The room hadn't changed. The old desk, the family photographs, the pocket watch, still ticking softly. Only one envelope remained. Unlike all the others, it had no name. Across the front, Grandpa had written, "For the one who chose to continue." Noah looked at me. "I think this one's for us." I nodded quietly. "No, I think it's for you." With careful hands, Noah opened the envelope. Inside, there was only one letter. No photographs, no keepsakes, no hidden key. just Grandpa's handwriting. Dear Noah, if you are reading this, then you have already discovered the greatest secret I ever hoped to leave behind. It was never hidden inside this watch. It was never locked inside a vault. It was never waiting inside these letters. The real inheritance was never something you could hold. It was something you could become. I never mailed these letters because gratitude should never end with words. It should become action. Every person you have met has already passed kindness to someone else. Now, it is your turn. Don't spend your life searching for more secrets. Create stories worth remembering. Help strangers. Protect children. Comfort the lonely. Plant trees whose shade you may never sit beneath. That is the only legacy worth leaving when the day comes that this pocket watch stops ticking. Don't repair it. Let it rest, because by then, its purpose will already be complete. Instead, listen carefully. If your own heart still chooses kindness, you won't need a watch to guide you anymore. With love, Grandpa Richard. No one spoke. The room was completely still. Even the old clock on the wall seemed quieter. Noah folded the letter carefully, then placed it back inside the envelope. He walked to Grandpa's desk, picked up the silver pocket watch, held it in both hands. For several moments, he simply listened. Ding, ding, ding. Then, without warning, the watch stopped. Silence. No one touched it. No one tried to wind it. No one reached to repair it. I smiled. Tears filled my eyes. He knew. I whispered. He always knew. Noah nodded. Grandpa wasn't waiting for the watch to stop. He was waiting for us to no longer need it. The following spring, the Carter Family Foundation was established. Not in Richard's name, not in Noah's name, but in honor of every ordinary person who quietly changed another life. Its motto was carved into the entrance stone. One act of kindness, one life at a time. Years later, visitors often asked where Grandpa Richard's famous pocket watch was displayed. Noah would simply smile. It isn't in a museum. It's exactly where Grandpa wanted it to be. He would gently place his hand over his heart. Right here. Final message. Some people leave behind money. Some leave behind houses. Richard Carter left behind something far greater. A reason for ordinary people to keep choosing kindness. And that is a legacy that time can never take away.